Kia ora te whanau, no mai, haere mai, and welcome in Sky Broadband Rapid League here on Sky Sport. It is last, but certainly not the least round here in the NZNBL regular season. Tonight, the Hawke's Bay Hawks hosting the Auckland Tuatara Rodney Green Arena. Maya Williamson here, joined by Crystal Ledger-Walker. Crystal, this could be an interesting one here tonight. Given the Tuatara scenario in the NZNBL right now, they essentially need to get this win.
Yeah, they really do, and they need to get a lot of points in it. We spoke about that tiebreak in the middle and how the many different ways that this thing could go, but this Rapid League game, you're right, is very important, and this Tuatara team should be locked in and getting that point differential up.
Nelson Giants are officially the 2025 Sky Broadband Rapid League champions, but you're right, a win here for tonight for the Tuatara would at least boost their points percentage on the ladder, which you'll come to find in the NZNBL is essential this year round. We'll take a look at the starting five for the Auckland Tuatara: Ledger, McIntosh, Wilkie, Riley, and Barrow. That's quite an experienced starting five.
It is a really experienced starting five, but the last time these two teams matched up, the Hawks did a really good job on shutting Nick Barrow down inside. They were without Josh Ledger, so he's a big force back in the middle. But yeah, the Hawks did a really great job in the paint. Will that be the case today? We will see.
Take a look at the hosts as well. Smiler, Murphy, Matakatia, Keeley, and Eagle. Looks like Keeley and Eagle might be the big matchups here tonight for the likes of Ledger and Barrow.
Yes, they will, and I love the way Ezra Eagle plays. He's such a high IQ player, really moves the ball well, and just makes great decisions down the stretch. So he's going to have to play bigger than his size and do some damage against Ledger and Barrow inside.
I feel as though that is really in Eagle's identity. He's just 6'3", but plays as if he's 6'5" and above.
Right, he does, and he does all the little things well, gets in the right positions, moves really well off the ball, and keeps the ball moving for his team. And when the Hawks do that, they're at their best.
Here's a Chemist Warehouse head-to-head. Pretty hot streak there for the Auckland Tuatara, and in terms of the stat categories, looking pretty similar. And then onto that key player matchup. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah, talk about instant offense. Jacob Murphy and Zach Riley can both score in a multitude of ways. Jacob Murphy, one of the most exciting players to watch off the ball. The way he cuts, comes off pin down screens, backdoors, things like that. And he's also so athletic, plays above the rim as well.
Your Barter Card match officials for tonight: Brad Clive, Mikey Graham, and Sam Pan. Just about to get underway here in the Rodney Green Arenas in the Bay. It is the last regular season round before we head into playoffs, and boy, it's looking exciting.
Man, check out that jersey that kid is wearing. That is fresh, right?
Bit of swag and style here in Napier. Didn't expect anything else. About to get underway. Thumbs up look like they've been issued by Mikey Graham. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is the last time these guys will be matched up in Sky Broadband Rapid League for this year. Let's make it a good one. And it's going to be the hosts with the first possession. Instantly an off-ball cut from none other than Jacob Murphy. Matakatia joined halfway through the season. Murphy doesn't need much space. Doesn't get it to go, but it's a good shot.
It is. That's a great read from him. Zach Riley was stuck underneath the hoop. They ran that little Spain screen action, which we've seen a lot of this year in this league.
Riley just so calm and composed all of the time. Tries a three of his own, doesn't get it to go. 2 uncontested threes to start things off for both sides.
Yeah, and great looks for their scorers. And Jacob Murphy just sticks with it, doesn't care about the block, goes straight back up and makes it count.
Just an energizer bunny, the 23-year-old, still playing in his hometown. Wilkie have loved his productivity this year. And there goes Riley. And that's the key matchup we saw, getting a bucket of their own to start this thing off.
Right, did we predict that? Who's up there making those head-to-heads? Obviously doing a great job.
Yeah, absolutely, nailed it. We're going to see plenty more of that as well. And there goes Matakatia, joins the scoring alongside Jacob Murphy.
And that is why they brought him in. They recruit him out of the Panthers because he can do just that. Such a pure jumper, but Wilkie, ooh, silky smooth from the three.
Not the fashion that he usually does it in, Dylan Wilkie. Shoots it at a really high clip. They'll want to see a bit more of that from the guard. We're going to see our first foul here today on Josh Ledger, who He's very expressive about the way that he responds to referee calls.
He is. His opinion, he's passionate. You love to see it though, and he's just a physical player.
Oh, he has some of the best energy that I think I've seen in this league. Goes hard on both ends of the floor, that guy. You can tell he cares about the game. There goes Ezra Eagle. We talked about it at the start, and here he is doing it, just lifting above his weight.
Yeah, great finish from him and a great delivery from Smiler on that pocket pass as well. Obviously the two have a lot of chemistry going. Got that silver medal at the under-20 nationals earlier this year.
There's a big board there from Nick Barrow doing what he does best, and Dylan Wilkie goes 2 for 2 from downtown.
He actually reminds me of Cam Glidden in the way he finds his shots, his aggressiveness in taking them, and also his body type, the length to get it off over smaller defenders.
And you can tell that Cam Glidden would have worked with him a lot for him to become that 3-and-D kind of player. And they've actually needed a fair bit of that in the Sal's NBL, and Ezra Eagle doing Ezra Eagle things.
Right, great positioning on that. He was set, he knew that shot was going up and made no mistake.
Oh my gosh, it's just a shot-making party at the moment. Zach Riley gets one of his own.
I mean, we were speaking about it before this game. We know that Tuatara was speaking about it too, getting those points up there. And Chris McIntosh doesn't believe it.
Love the defensive activity from Chris McIntosh. Got a smile on his face at disbelief. Looks like he'll take a break. And in comes Chris Wiley. Maz Taylor for the Hawks subbing in as well. Of course, last Rapid League game of the year for these young guns who have done extremely well. There goes Murphy. Leaves it far too long. Off they run. Zach Riley clears off Jacob Murphy. Just off to the left. Oh, it's kept in bounce. Here come the Hawks. Murphy, he loves a bit of transition. Finds Maz Taylor. A couple of good positions, but can't find the bottom of the net.
Right, I like that aggressiveness from Maz Taylor though. He's a shooter, and when he gets it going, he can absolutely heat up.
Oh, and that's the game of Josh Ledger if I've ever seen one. Came out of his hands. He's like, I'll take it. I will just take it.
Right, doesn't matter. I'll pass it to myself. Can up the assist too.
But that body, he's just so strong. Anyone in his way, you kind of just want to move out the way.
No, I loved watching, I think, him and Totuka Winya. They're two of the strongest bodies in this Rapid League. And going against each other, let me tell you, they would have come away with some bruises.
I think the way that Josh plays all the time, he must have a pretty sore body.
Yeah,
there
absolutely.
he goes.
And his opponents, I would say, even sorer.
Yeah, they definitely come off the worst out of those. Your cousin, Josh Ledger?
Yep, he is, and probably runs in the family a little bit. I'm a bit of a brick wall when I play as well.
That is so true. I think everyone in your family, I can see it.
It's the Samoan genes.
Love to see it. Love to see it. Here he is again. There's a lane. Doesn't want to mess with Ezra Eagle this time. There goes Chris Wiley. Two-man game. Keeps it on this side. Wiley got him with a shot fake. Clock's winding down. You want none other than Zach Riley to create the pull-up midi.
Just beautiful. Out of some broken play, made something out of nothing, got to a spot, beautiful shot.
That's cuts here into the hands of Zach Riley, and they didn't get it off in time. Couldn't quite pull off the Jet Thompson full court heave from the 5.
Man, was that the shot of the year for you? Because
yeah,
it absolutely was for me too.
That is the wildest thing I've ever seen. At the end of the first quarter, a high-scoring clip here in the Sky Broadband Rapid League. Tuatara up 15-8. I feel like it's been a shot-making masterclass.
Yeah, it has, and really led the way by Wilkie with his 2 threes, and Zach Riley being really aggressive to find his as well, both with 6 points, both leading scorers in this ball game.
There's a classic for yourselves, deal of the week, a large pepperoni pizza. You just can't go wrong. $29.99. Scan that QR code or use Sal's Basket. $25 valid until Tuesday.
I mean, come on. You only got a few more weeks to make the most of those, so get in while you can.
Yeah, you're going to have to wait till To'ihi to get your hands on it once again. The Sky Broadband Fibre starter from $50 a month for the first 12 months. You can head along to skybroadband.co.nz or call 09525 5555. Now, Crystal, it must be said, the Under-19 World Cup at the moment, how good. A lot of these Rapid League players are competing in a semi-final tomorrow morning.
I mean, everybody needs to set their alarms right now. It's the school holidays. What else are you doing out there?
You can sleep all day and next week.
Right. But how cool that they have done it, and not just for the first time. Obviously, they did similar things last year. Top 4 2 years in a row is a lot of that group. That is a massive deal in terms of New Zealand basketball.
When you think about it, how long it's talked about the way that the Tall Blacks performed at the World Cup in 2002, placing 4th. People still talk about it 20 years on. So the fact that we've now done it at an age group level 2 years in a row is extraordinary.
Right, and just how exciting for the future of men's and boys basketball here in New Zealand.
A lot of them we've seen playing on floors like this and games like this, and of course Coach Matt Lacey, head coach of the Tauranga Whai, and even assistant coach Doug Courtney is the head coach of the Tauranga Whai Rapid League. It's just amazing to see the product.
It is, and it's great to see obviously those coaches very familiar with our local talent, coached against them, coached some of them in this league. But yeah, just great stuff from those boys, and good luck to them as they take on the big USA.
Big game tomorrow, probably first time ever New Zealand would beat USA if it happens tomorrow, and I've got full faith in the boys that they can do it. Chris Riley just scored that last bucket. His twin brother, Josh Riley, in the squad. Here's Matakatsia. Oh, thought he might have snuck away with it, but he doesn't. Brad Clive is too quick to that one.
And a great contest by the Tuatara to get their close out and make him second guess that shot.
Chris McIntosh, one of the only ones part of this Auckland Tuatara for the 3 consecutive finals they've been in the NZNBL. Wiley controls the pace so well. Loving this Nick Barrow, Zach Riley 2-man game. Finds Wiley in the corner. And great activity from Harry Keeley there on the boards. It'll stay Tuatara ball. Bit of an age disparity between old Nick Barrow and young Harry Keeley, but he's really standing his ground.
He is, and he's been doing a really good job all year. Obviously, the Hawks have been plagued by injuries throughout, but Keeley been someone that is consistently suited up for this squad.
Zach Riley now up to 8 points on the night already of the Tuatara's 19.
And speaking about Tall Blacks and history of our game, obviously son of a former Tall Black, Brad Riley, who was part of that 2000 Olympic squad.
Yeah, so excited to see the next in line kind of pick it up and where he left off.
Man, Matsakatia just said too small on that take to Chris McIntosh.
Yeah, love the length of Matsakatia. Plays as if he's a guard, but really long wingspan. Stands at about 6'6". Out of Auckland himself, went to Mags, I believe, and then St. Kitts for the end of his high school career. Zach Riley left with no time, and a great defensive job there by Rodney.
The Hawks did a really good job of smothering their offense. The Tuatara set just looked crammed.
Taylor, so quick, but dishes it off to the wrong player. Here come the Tuatara. Czakowski. Oh, great finish from Czakowski. I like that touch.
That was a great finish. Getting pushed out of bounds. He shot that almost from underneath the backboard, put it in his inside hand. Good take.
Czakowski, one of many in this Tuatara squad that is a product of Rosmini High. Third at secondary school Nats last year, selected to the All-Star 5. And a great kick game to go along with that.
Right, love to see it. Look good, play good.
And it's going to be a free throw violation. You don't see that very often here in the NZNBL. Gets another bite at the cherry. On the Chemist Warehouse. Can he make this one pay? Learn from his mistakes.
Right, that's what you like to see, adjustments. Shooters make adjustments.
And now they're up by 12. 22 points in the first half of Rapid League is an impressive feat here by the Tuatara. Murphy gets to the rim, up and under. Just left too short. There's Eagle. His defensive activity so good. Murphy makes it count.
Yeah, great second look at that tried to go inside early, was deterred by the length of the Tuatara, decided to knock it down from the outside instead.
Back within 9 once again, go the Hawks. Could be not for long. Dylan Wilkie, a rare miss for him. But the offensive rebound falls to Jakowski. Here's McIntosh through traffic. Okay.
Man, the Tuatara have been getting in the gym, working on their finishes around the rim, because that is two very impressive ways to get on the other side of the basket.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering how McIntosh was going to pull that off, with all due respect.
Right, there was a lot of traffic there.
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
They're used to it up here in Auckland.
Look, being a short person myself, you know, it's not the easiest thing to approach a key full of people, so impressive stuff there by McIntosh. And then they get the stop. And Tuatara, they could head into half-time with possibly their biggest lead of this thing. Wilkie thought about it. Barrow getting a bit of trouble there in the low post. Just looking to bully ball there on Keeley. Keeley that holds his own.
Yeah, good challenge from him. Walls up, makes Barrow take a really high hook shot.
There is your BNZ player timeout called by Jacob Murphy. We've really appreciated what BNZ have done this season to inspire the next generation of Kiwi basketballers and give them a chance to head along to the season's games and see this in the flesh. I mean, this stuff is exciting to watch as a young person aspiring to be a basketballer one day.
Yeah, and you absolutely need to get in on that. Not many games left, and the games that we do have left are the ones that you really want to get to. We're coming down to the business end of the season where the money is made.
Gosh, it is a gridlock of a ladder in the Sal's NBL. That game, of course, tipping off just after 7:30 here on Sky Sport. Matsukatia for the final shot and is fouled. Dylan Wilkie can't believe it. Coach killer of a foul.
I've loved that matchup between them two. Been absolutely doing it all on defense. Look at him getting all in there, but just too much. Got him on the arm on that fade.
Matsukatia spent some time with the Indian Panthers earlier this year. Great to see him picked up by another team. There he goes. Oh, 1 for 2 from the free throw line, and a quick player timeout the other way by Josh Ledger. He was not messing about with that one.
No, we saw them earlier when they had that sideline out of bounds. They were wondering if they should use it then, but they were still around 34 seconds on the clock. So glad they saved it and will give themselves one last look at the basket.
Ledger very smart. He's been in the Sal's NBL for a while now. Debut in 2020 with the Giants. He's been with the Bulls and the Jets as well. Pulled his crafts back to Auckland. 3 seconds on the clock. There he is, right on cue. Makes it count. Perfectly executed. They've done that one before for sure.
They have, and that was just a great play, great idea to get it up to the big man inside. No one could stop him, and a great way to finish the half. Tuatara looking strong.
Well, I'm really impressed by the score here. 26 points to 14. That is a very high score to be at in 8 minutes of basketball.
Yeah, the Tuatara are sitting exactly where they wanted to be, controlling this game right now, led by none other than Zach Riley, doing it all on the offensive end. And Wilkie, those 2 threes coming in that first quarter, got a bit quiet in the second, but that's due to Matsukatia's defense really sticking on his hip, getting in there. And look at all those assists for the Tuatara. Everyone's sharing the ball, they're moving it around. They have bigger hopes for their season. They're all looking to get each other going. Nick Barrow dominating inside that big body. We've seen him working down low, 4 rebounds to his name. Murphy, Keeley, Ledger, and Riley also on 2 apiece. And McIntosh, one of the...
Okay.
Right. Who would have thought? But shout out Chris McIntosh getting up there for that 1 block and a steal. Riley and Eagle with 1 as well.
Bit of a defensive masterclass there from Chris McIntosh. 30 years old and still kicking it like you wouldn't imagine. Kibis Weas, of course, the official stats partner of the Sal's NBL. A lot of the defensive prowess, I think, of Chris McIntosh comes from his experience as a tall black 3-on-3 player. You've got to be able to stand your ground.
Yeah, you have. That is such a physical game. I mean, we see some of these players go between games, and when they come back to this league, they're like, what? That was the softest call ever. And in 3-on-3, yeah, those things just don't get called. So Chris McIntosh knows how to play against it, knows how to use his body really well. Like you said, very experienced at that international level as well.
Here come the local boys, still within touch, but some dirty work to do, especially this third quarter, going to be quite a determining factor. A very young squad in comparison to the experience of this Tuatara squad. I believe Keely, the only player above 20 years, sorry, Murphy, the only player above 20 years old on this Hawks squad. No teenagers on the floor right now for the Tuatara. Let's see how this unfolds here in the third quarter of Sky Broadband Rapid League. A great set to open the half off for the Hawks, just what they needed.
Yeah, it was, and it was really smart to have someone like Murphy come around that screen, because you have to go over, you have to chase him, because we know he's a shooter, and that opened him up on the backside.
Oh, there he is. Just came out of nowhere. Bumps off Chris McIntosh, too small. Give me that.
You spoke about that experience. If there's someone to get them back in this game, it will be Murphy, and it will be doing things like that, getting out in transition.
What a step forward he's taken in his career this season with the Hawks. Been loving his energy. There he is, making Zach Riley's life hard. But Zach Riley, it just don't matter for him. He's at the double digits now.
Makes such good reads. Murphy went under. He said, thank you very much. Watch this.
Matakatia, can he do it himself? Defended well by Wilkie. Smiler, he's shifty. Finds Eagle, but draws the foul instead. There he is, young Zoram Smiler. Had a game winner to send Hawke's Bay to the under-20 national finals earlier this year for the Bay. In fact, against North Harbour, so a few of those fellas probably still experiencing a bit of pain from that.
I try to lock him down. Murphy!
Oh. Come on, Jacob Murphy. 12 points for the young man already. Putting this team on his back to get them back in this one, but Zach Riley doing the exact same thing.
Loving that battle between those two guards. But you're right, Murphy, we said it before the game, instant offense.
There he is. So hard to contain. Can he go back to back? Can't get the friendly roll. Tuatara looking to further impose their will here. They've led for the entirety of this one. Wilkie finds Riley. Riley finds another triple. Oh, and big board from none other than Jacob Murphy. And a foul in the backcourt. Nick Barrow just sends Smiler to the ground.
That is tough. Watch that again on replay.
Oh,
Smiler was just waiting for that.
Smiler, I gotta say, sold that down the river.
Might have even been in the charge circle on the opposite end.
Oh, gosh. I mean, respect to Smiler. He knew what he was doing. That was a smart move.
It was smart, especially against these bigs. I mean, if you want to stand up, put your body on the line, respect you.
Yeah, big hit there from a big body of Nick Barrow. There he is, Smiler. Can he create in the offensive end? Eagle lets one fly. Of course, gets his own rebound. Keely blocked by Ledger. No chance.
I said, I've seen enough.
It looked a little bit too easy there for Josh Ledger. Wilkie puts the cherry on top. Extends the lead once again. They have dominated their way through this matchup.
Yeah, Wilkie been really efficient from the outside, from the three. When his feet are set, his shot looks great.
3 triples now for Wilkie. He's got 9 points. Great dump off by Matakatia.
Beautiful take from him. You had to close out. Barrow had to get up there, get a hand, because he knew that was his shot. But Matakatia, too smart, and a perfect dish inside to his cutter.
Oh, Murphy almost got a fingertip on that one. Right, he can't make him pay.
And Barrow and Keely going at it inside.
Getting into it. Matakatia knew better than to try one over Josh Ledger. Murphy down the lane. Can't thread the needle. What's the call here? I think it might be a travel or some of the sorts. It's going to be Tuatara possession either way. Murphy just tried to force something that wasn't there in that position.
No, but if I'm Murphy, I'm not too mad about that because now it gives my team a chance to set up on defense, not giving them a transition look.
Well-earned rest for Jacob Murphy. Got an 8 back in the game. Wiley finds McIntosh. Nice little flare action all day long there for Chris Wiley.
Man, you are so happy if you're Cam Glidden and there's multiple Wiley brothers to choose from because they just make great decisions. And Smiler, man, has he stepped up this quarter and made some things happen?
Big boy move there from Zorn Smiler. Gets his first bucket in an and one fashion. Whereas assistant coach Kane Hokianga did a great job holding down the fort for the Hawks at the start of the season. What a start they got off to in the NZNBL. It's been unfortunate the way that things have turned out for them, slid down to 10th on the ladder. But they had a great start. The loss of Darnell Coe just really heartbreaking for them.
Yeah, he was so good inside. Spoke about it while he was here. He was like the Joker from the Denver Nuggets, just did it all, got things going. And then Jackson Ball, obviously, he's a big missing piece as well. And what a start to the season he had too.
Was it like 40 piece in his first game of the season? Zach Riley is on an absolute heater just quietly. 15 points of the Tuatara's 37 for him as they end the third quarter with another convincing lead. 39 points and 3 quarters of basketball compared to the Hawks' 26. That's a scoring masterclass.
It is, and I mean, this is a great step up for the Tuatara. The last time these two teams played, the Hawks had 46 points, the Tuatara 36. The Tuatara lost that game, and a lot of their points came off the bench. Kupate Ratana had 13 points for the team. No one else was in double digits, so the Tuatara have really turned it around. Like I said earlier, they're at the business end of their season. You can see the improvement that they've had from that game back in April till now.
Johnny Mama in charge of this Auckland Tuatara group. Cam Glidden in the back there. Been a rapid transition for him from retiring basketball to then becoming a head coach of the team that he just retired from. It's been an incredible trajectory, and I think he's done one heck of a job in his first season.
It has, and I mean, it's a fairly new squad as well. They kind of cleaned shop with their team last year, brought in some of those same locals, but a lot of new imports, a lot of new faces, and a lot of new players to get into the system. But you're right, they're in a perfect position to get a playoff spot. And you know what happens in playoff time? Everything's wiped, anything can happen. You just need to get on your run at the right time.
Tuatara have unfortunately lost 3 grand finals in a row. They would very much hope to rewrite that history this year. It's going to be a tough gig for them. They have to play in an eliminator to make their way to a semi-final. That is if they win tonight, Crystal. The chances aren't even secured for them in the top 6. A great way to start the fourth quarter off. Gotten a nice little bucket.
But yeah, you're right. Job must be done here today. Zoram Smiler making things difficult for Wiley.
Oh, Ledger, another block on the cards for him. Why do people keep trying?
I know, take the floater, pull up for the 3, something else, bring him out. But Josh Ledger coming off a game where he had 4 blocks, so should definitely be on the scout.
What does Miles call it? He had a rapid league like single double or something. He had 5, 5, and 5. Miles was very excited about that in the group chat.
Right, 555.
Amazing. Definitely an all-round player there, Josh Ledger, and playing a very key role off the bench as well for the Tuatara, especially with the absence of Rob Lowe today. He's going to get some well-earned minutes.
Yeah, he will, and in my opinion, had the game of the season, his game of the season, last week when they played the Jets, really stood up and helped them get that much-needed win. Very close one as well.
The Jets have unfortunately slid to 7th, and of course all love to Corey Ripstaff, just heartbreaking Achilles tear.
Yeah, you hate to see it, and also can we send some love to Kobe Cutter, who had a really unfortunate, oh, what a pass. sorry, yes, Kobe Carter, thoughts are with you if you're watching this game or your family's watching at home with your recovery as well.
Dylan Wilkie from deep. 4 triples. He is a pure shooter.
He is up to 12 points. Get a hand on that man.
Murphy, he's going to be one of the main hopes for a comeback. Left short. The Tuatara will be flourishing in this one. Need all the points percentage and points on the ladder they can get. Ledger, nowhere to go. Besides, he's going to go himself. And not a bad option, but just leaves it short.
He loves that little rugby tuck. His dad's a rugby coach. Good to see it, but can't get it to go down.
Could be one heck of a rugby player, that's for sure. Foul called on Chris Wiley, I believe it's going to be. Just a bit too active there on Dante Matakatia.
Potentially a smart foul because Matakatia definitely has the size advantage and he has that pure jumper so he can get it off over smaller players.
Just want to correct what I said before. He did not attend St. Kent, I don't believe. Just a man's boy. Finished 7th at the Secondary School Nationals in 2023 and had a stint with the under-17 New Zealand team at the Asia and World Cup. Jakowski leaves it long. Barrow, high IQ tip to the corner. Won't go. This lead still not safe for the Tuatara. Rodney, Smiler, over to Eagle. Barrow, too physical off the ball. Another guy who sits to the floor.
Man, can we keep a set on that? He's put 2 of them down there.
There's probably been more, to be fair, as well. Still time in this one for the Hawks. They've got to get the ball rolling pretty soon if they want to climb back into this one. Of course, the last Rapid League game of the season.
And just look at that setup from the Tuatara. You could see Chris McIntosh trying to top block, but Jacob Murphy gets over anyways.
Can't make a count though, and that's going to hurt the Hawks as we head into the business end of this one. Jakowski, far too long. Here comes Matakatia. Bit of pep in his step. Murphy decides to pull one from deep. Gone cold these last few minutes.
He has, but 1 minute to go. The Hawks need some stops and they need to score quick.
Jakowski, McIntosh in full control. As I say that, a turnover for the Hawks. A little bit of hope here. Eagle finds Taylor. Back out to Eagle. Time's a wasting for the Hawks. Smiler gets to the rim but can't finish. And that might be it for the Hawks.
Well, but Tuatara should still be thinking scoring. They're thinking about that points differential.
McIntosh finds Wilkie. Barrow gets the hoop and the harm. Might have got away with a little extra step in there. But you're right, that's a great sign for the Tuatara. Another bucket. As many points as possible will be their thought process. Nick Barrow. He's played over 200 games in his Sal's NBL career. Started with the Auckland Pirates in 2011. And back with Auckland after many trips around the country in 2025. How amazing.
You don't even have to read out all the years. You could have just said started with the Auckland Pirates and we would have known. A lot of experience there. Matakatia can't get it to go.
And there he is, Nick Barrow. Another bucket. 47 points in the Sky Broadband Rapid League. It's not a record, but it's pretty damn high.
It is, and it's going to help their chances getting into that playoff stretch. See what the Hawks can come up with here. They've been one of the more exciting teams to watch on sideline out of bounds. Very well drilled. And their plays are so good because they have so many options out of each read. and a lot of misdirection with their screens and movement as well.
Let's see what happens here. As Taylor finds Murphy. And they're still going to play to that last buzzer. Eagle from the corner. And a player timeout there called by the Tuatara. Again, we've appreciated all that BMZ have done and the Ticket to the Big Game initiative, inspiring the next generation of Kiwi basketballers. Definitely seen plenty of them at the NZNBL games across the season. Tuatara, if they get a score here, that'd be exciting. Finish Rapid League off on a high.
Right, last Rapid League game of the season. Obviously, Rapid League ends after this week.
Here we go. Who would you want other than Dylan Wilkie to let it go? I thought it was going far too long for Dylan Wilkie. But nonetheless, the Tuatara get the win. 47-31. And Crystal, that'll certainly help for their playoff surge.
Yeah, well, and just a lot of great habits we saw out there as well. Lockdown defensively. And that second quarter was the most impressive for me. Held the Hawks to only 6 points. And Zach Riley and Wilkie absolutely went off on the offensive end. They were deadly from the three-point line. 42% from deep were the Tuatara. And then once again, those assists have all doubled. Tuatara just sharing the ball around, getting it done, and Nick Barrow going coast to coast, rim to rim, rebounding machine with 6 leading the way. Josh Ledger, 2 big blocks inside. McIntosh got that one in the first half as well. And the steals by the Hawks, trying to make a late comeback, unfortunately wasn't enough.
Well, it's been a great year of Sky Broadband and Rapid League for both these teams. Tuatara come away with a decisive win. We'll see you very soon in the NZNBL must-win game for the Auckland Tuatara here in Napier. Don't go anywhere.
All right, Brendan, Tuatara tonight, you know, in the last home game for the Hawks. How do you see the game planning out tonight, and what do you think the keys to getting the win tonight is in the Hawks now?
Keys are basically to play a full game. We've had a couple good starts and then just some rough patches during the game. So for us, it's just maintaining that level throughout the entire game.
Awesome. And the focus in training tonight, has there been certain key areas that the team needs to focus on?
Kia ora iti whanau, no mai, haere mai, and welcome in Sal's NBL action here on Sky Sport for a Saturday evening hoops. And it is the Hawke's Bay Hawks who host the Auckland Tuatara in the last but not least round of regular season basketball. And for the Auckland Tuatara, it is do or die tonight. A win here secures a place in the final six. Maya Williamson joined by Tall Ferns veteran Crystal Ledger-Walker. What a game we have on our hands here, Crystal. Like I said, a win secures top six for the Tuatara. We take a look at the standings here, but it is a gridlock between 5, 6, 7 and 8. A loss for the Tuatara tonight puts their fate in the hands of results around the weekend.
Man, just such a cram in that middle of the table, and how exciting that you can watch at the end of the season and there is so much on the line and so much left to play for. We're talking points differential, we're talking wins, we're talking losses, we're talking everything in between. It is coming down to the absolute wire, and I know the teams like the Fi are watching in on this, wondering what's going to happen.
You know it's good when the ladder starts to get really confusing about what happens? That's when it's good basketball. And have a look here. Tomorrow the Jets play the Nuggets. The Nuggets, of course, just playing for pride at the moment. But the Jets are in 7th. And then the Rams play the Bulls tomorrow. The Jets have a chance, but it's also going to depend on the results of tonight's game and the Bulls game as well. If the Tuatara win here tonight and the Bulls lose tomorrow, they will take on the Sharks on Thursday evening in the 6th place, as you can see there, take on the Ears on Wednesday evening. How exciting.
Yeah, man, so much math, so much calculations going into how all of that is going to break down. If you're the Tuatara, though, you are just thinking win and by as many as possible.
Absolutely. Here is the Tuatara starting 5 for tonight. Pride, Tuach, Mohammed, Vodonovic and Fortu. No Rob Lowe tonight, Crystal.
Yeah, that is a big piece, quite literally, out of the middle of this team. He does so much. He leads rebounds, he leads assists, he does a little bit of everything for this Tuatara, and you can't even put into numbers or stats his leadership and what he brings in those huddles and in timeouts either.
From imports to head coach, here is Cam Glidden. We caught up with him earlier.
All right, Coach, coming into the Hawks nest tonight, you know, how's the focus been in preparation for the Hawks?
Yeah, the focus has been really strong. We understand what's at stake, and this game means so much for us and our standings and our chance of making the playoffs. So the guys have been great. We unfortunately couldn't practice one day due to slippery court, but a mental practice was great. And yesterday we had our final one for the week, and we're feeling pretty good about ourselves.
Awesome, Coach. Hey, Coach, what's the main or key areas you think the team needs to do well in order to get that dub tonight?
Yeah, I guess our main focus lately for every game has been defensive transition. I think if we get teams in the half court, we're pretty talented defensively. If we let them get out and get some easy buckets, that's where the game becomes pretty tight. So just making sure we get back, containing Greeter, you know, making sure he doesn't get off to a nice scoring punch, and then doing a job on the other guys as well. And yeah, just a real team effort.
Awesome, Coach. Hey, appreciate your time. Good luck for the game.
Really interesting point there from Coach Cam Glidden. Dan Greeter is a very hard guy to contain in transition.
Look, I've done a few of these Hawks games and watched a lot of those pre-game interviews, and everybody always talks about stopping Greeter, their leading scorer in transition. He is so good at getting downhill. He works so hard on the defensive end that gets him those stops to get himself going in transition. And let me tell you, the energy and the momentum that brings for this Hawks team is everything.
Here is the Hawks starting 5. Scott, Greeter, Bush the 30, Yates and Alston. This team without Wani Swakalo Bullock.
Yeah, and not to mention Jackson Ball as well, a major piece away with that very talented under-19 squad.
The newest import of the bunch is Brandon Alston. We caught up with him earlier as well.
All right, Brandon, Tuatara tonight, you know, in the last home game for the Hawks. How do you see the game planning out tonight, and what do you think the keys to getting the win tonight is in the Hawks nest?
Yeah, the keys are basically to play a full game. We've had a couple good starts and then just some rough patches during the game. So for us, it's just maintaining that level throughout the entire game.
Awesome. And the focus in training tonight, has there been certain key areas that the team needs to focus on with the Tuatara coming in as a must-win probably for them to keep their playoff hopes alive? Is there anything Coach Sam been doing in training this week to prepare?
Well, I don't know if I can give too much away. I would just say that we really want to just execute. Like I said, play a full 40-minute game. In terms of Tuatara, they have some really good scorers on their team. A little bit more of a veteran team than us. So for us, it's just we want to use our energy and just take advantage of the home crowd.
Awesome. Hey, appreciate your time. Good luck for the game tonight.
The gatekeeping there from old Alston. Pretty interesting stuff. But what I find is the coolest thing is he's right. They just got to take advantage of this home crowd. It is just a play for pride for the Hawks, of course. They're on their last regular season game at home. But they can just go ahead and cause an upset. They could just stir the pot for the Tuatara.
They can, and these players are thinking about a lot of things. They're thinking about their spot in this team next season, you know, what the coaches are going to think of them. This is their last chance to really showcase everything they've got in their bag as well. So a lot to play for, and he spoke about it, that young youthfulness. Can they use that to their advantage tonight?
Here is the Chemist Warehouse head-to-head, been a slippery downhill slope of, unfortunately, for the Hawks. Tuatara coming off a win, which could bolster them well, and then actually relatively even in stat categories.
Yeah, pretty even in those stats, but those key people that are out, those are going to be the massive things to look at. Who can step up in their absence? Tuatara had Josh Ledger stand up last game, but Wani Swakala-Bullock, he is a major piece for this Hawks squad. I know Campbell Scott can get it going. Potentially Murphy off the bench as well will really have to step up and bring something to his squad. So we'll see what happens in that space too.
There are your Barcard officials for tonight. Brad Clive, Mikey Graham and Sam Pan. Like you mentioned, obviously Wani Swakala-Bullock is a massive loss, but the loss of Jackson Ball, who brings scoring and energy and a presence from the perimeter, is one to be missed as well.
Yeah, he just does a little bit of everything, and we spoke about it in the Rapid League game. He started the season so well, but he has really been consistent. His game has grown, and he is absolutely in the running for most improved player of the year, in my opinion. So massive shoes to fill, but just really exciting times for the youthfulness, the young guys, the local core that this Hawks squad has developed.
Really had a good shot at the playoffs, it looked like, early. The injury of Darnell Coates has hurt them in this back end of the season, but speaks volumes about their future in the league and their ability to compete with the best of the best. Here come the Auckland Tuatara, who have to perform tonight. A lot riding on this game as they try to secure their place in the final six. A win tonight will do it for them. Just scrape them through to that final six. Coming off a win, of course, against the Manawatu Jets. Before that, though, a 3-game losing streak. Can they look to regain their momentum, or is it going to come down to the win-loss of other teams across this weekend? Almost underway here in the Rodney Green Arena. Napier always puts it on. And the cutest little ball boy to finish off the regular season, of course.
Like to see it. High fives both teams. He's a good sport.
Not like that Nelson Giant kid that just went for the dolphin dive earlier this season. Atmosphere building here in Napier. Loyal home crowd, ready to be a nuisance to this Auckland Tuatara squad. Clifton Bush Jr. getting the starting nod in replace of Wani Swakala-Bullock. Mikey Graham, make sure they're tucking their shirts in.
And interesting that Clifton Bush Jr. is doing this jump, not the tallest on the court, but definitely has the most hops, as we see on display right there.
And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the last regular season game for both the Hawks and the Tuatara. Lots on this one tonight, and Fortu, the defensive effort to open things for the Tuatara.
Yeah, that's a good stop from him, because a dunk like that for the Hawks would have been an exclamation point to start this game.
Mohammed finds Tuach. Fortu His life made hard by Lukey Yates. Shot clock down. Fortu fades away. What a defensive position for the Hawks.
Yeah, Fortu really asking for the foul on that one. Potentially might have a case, but Luther Muhammad called for it on the other end. Sold by Alston going out of court.
We'll see that again in the GG Gardner-Holmes replay. Just pushed out of bounds there from Muhammad. That was an easy call for the Barcard officials. Greta was named questionable before this one, so great for the Hawks to have him playing. And another turnover to start things off once again. There's Tuach in transition. Opens the back account for the Tuatara.
Just too easy for Tuach out in the lane. Seen do that many a times, but look at Dan Greta going the other way. Three players, does not matter. You cannot have a crack in your wall.
Exactly the opposite of what Cam Glidden was talking about in his pre-game interview. Dan Greta leading the league in scoring. Muhammad doesn't miss many of those pull-up middies.
No, Alston was right to keep on challenging that contest and was just enough to put Muhammad off.
Greta has a look from deep this time round. Just off. Pride shot the lights out against the Manawatu Jets last round. Tuach drops it off to Fortu. Some banging bodies going on, but you can always trust Fortu to be the strongest of the lot.
Yeah, he's a great player, and the Tuatara were very happy to get him back in the squad. And what better timing now that Rob Lowe is out, that he can come in and fill in inside.
Alston looks to dance here with Tuach. Great activity from Tommy V. Lukey Yates can't make one pay from downtown. Just 2 points in the first 2 minutes for the Hawks. Tuach, snatches it back right in the mouth of Greta. Okay.
Right, gotcha. Tuach doing a little bit of everything, up to 4 points early in this ball game.
Alston, Scott finds Greta. Met with activity and just bullies his way through. Can't get the finish, but gets the foul. Seems to be one of the only ways you can stop Dan Greta.
If somebody is going to play the villain tonight, it's absolutely going to be Dan Greta. He plays 110%, puts his body on the line for everything. It does not matter what the situation is for his team. He's giving it his all.
Averaging 24 points a game this season. First in the league. 2.5 assists to 9 rebounds and 1.5 steals as well. The 27-year-old out of Perth. He's an ANBL champion. Won't be crowned a Sal's NBL champion this time round, but I've loved the contribution from him. Seeing him back on Aotearoa grounds. Tuach finds Pride. Tommy V looks to go to work. Lovely footwork, the fundamentals.
Right, and you talk about a big body inside. Tommy V, one of the strongest guys down low.
Yates finds Greta. No, he doesn't. Well defended by Muhammad. Alston now looks to be a scorer. Leaves it long and a big boy rebound there for Fortu.
Good defense from the Tuatara. Alston saw multiple bodies on that drive.
Tommy V from the corner. No good. The Hawks can't go in transition this time around. Greta has the foot speed mismatch. Can't find Yates. Here comes Muhammad. And off to Pride it goes. Muhammad the O-board. Tuach. That hurts for the Hawks.
Tuach, great start for him. He's coming off a game where he had 7 points. He already has 7 in this one in 4 minutes. Good start and good signs for the Tuatara. Tough screen there on Tuach.
Scott from deep, that's what he does. Won't make it count this time, and Lukey Yates is having a tough night on the board so far. They are being very physical with him.
Yeah, they are. He is the biggest body for the Hawks. We spoke about Clifton Bush's Hobbs, but really have no one else with that type of size for the Hawks. So if the Tuatara can really body him down low, make his life hard, you can already see he's camping outside.
Greta, uncharacteristic miss, but there is Clifton Bush to put it back in beautiful fashion.
Just a great follow, such a good role player for this Hawks squad. Knows his job is getting on the boards. And watch it again on replay. Greta with the spin. Doesn't get it, but look who's there. Clifton Bush up for the flush. Quick 2 points for him.
Fortunately missed the activity down here. Looks like there was a foul on Clifton Bush down the other end. Tuatara an early 5-point lead. 5.5 to go in this one. Low scoring so far. Pride finds Tommy V. Tuach. The ball is swinging here for the Tuatara. Tuach loves a pull-up midi. Won't make it pay that time.
I like that little grenade action from Dan Footer. Get it to their hot shooter. A little heat check for Tuach.
Nice tip in. Clifton Bush, the activity on the O-boards, back to back.
Man, he just needs to camp out around that area. He's getting second chance looks for his team.
4-2, definitely the foot speed advantage there. And then picks up the late foul on Lukey Yates. Dan 4-2 has come out firing.
Great, quick, and long first step to blow by his defender. 4-2 is one of those really tough matchups for bigs inside because he is quick, he is small, he's nimble off the mark. And for a lot of big guys, they're not used to guarding people that play out on the three and can take them off the dribble.
Makes a count from the Chemist Warehouse, does Dan 4-2. 25-year-old out of Auckland. Played with the Tuatara back in 2022. Spent some time with the Bulls and the Giants before making his way home. Goes 2 for 2 from the Chemist Warehouse stripe, and he will earn his first rest of the game. Zach Riley in for the Tuatara, as well as Josh Ledger. Eagle and Murphy for the Hawks as well. Murphy, spark plug off the bench. Way too long. Tried to find the lob to Eagle. Tuatara come up with it. Muhammad, all the in and out. Shakes him. And it's quite rare to see Muhammad miss a couple of pull-up middies in a game.
Yeah, it really is. He is cash from that 17-foot distance. But Greta, once again, just so good at getting himself to the rim. Look at that change of pace, nice spin. And able to do enough to just draw some contact from Josh Ledger on that drive.
Such an athlete, Dan Greta. It's been so exciting watching him these last couple of years, and so good he's been able to keep healthy. This guy's been with the Illawarra Hawks, of course, for 6 years. And a bad run of injuries, 2 ACL tears in there, and a hamstring injury as well, I believe. But he has done some great things in the last couple of years.
Yeah, he has. And just the energy that he comes with, you spoke about it, Energizer Bunny. And no surprise, when you go out with those injuries, all you can think about is playing. So no surprise that he makes the most of it when he is healthy, gives it his absolute all, and just too much on that reach.
It's a well-earned break. I don't think he'll have many of those tonight. Dan Greta averages 34 minutes a game for the Hawks.
Second in the league in scoring as well, averaging over 24 points.
Tommy V now likes the matchup with young Ezra. Eagle can't finish, gives him a friendly tap and heads over to the Chemist Warehouse.
Try again next time, please.
He's saying, Ezra, you might be a good defender at your age, but can you contain me is the question. Tommy V, of course, the only Kiwis that has been in 3 consecutive ANVL Grand Finals. A very niche stat, but a championship win with the Sydney Kings and the Tasmanian Jack Jumpers, and then runners up with the BNZ Breakers. His experience has been so valuable for this Tuatara squad, especially with the absence of Rob Lowe for a majority of the season.
Right, and you're not even mentioning his experience in this league as well. Just speaks to his character, his leadership that he brings to teams, the winning mentality. Obviously not having the biggest scoring load this season, but we know what he's capable of.
Just the selflessness to play a different role than he usually would as the Tuatara get another stop and have contained the Hawks well. Just 9 points in this opening 6 minutes.
Yeah, Cam Glidden spoke about that in his pre-game interview. He rates them on this defensive end in the half court. It's just stopping Greta in transition, making those walls, and right now they're doing a pretty decent job.
Tommy V, the contested early three off the back rim. The Hawks will be happy to give that shot up. Here's Alston, 30-year-old out of New Jersey, tipped away by the Tuatara. Here comes Tuach to Muhammad. How good the Tuatara in transition.
Yeah, and just all their guards, so versatile, so good at sharing the rock around, and also so good at running the lanes. Easy two for Muhammad.
There's no doubt going to be a timeout by the Hawks coming soon. The Tuatara leading 16-9. It's been a very good opening for the Tuatara, on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, it has. And talk about good things. Get in on that deal, the large pepperoni pizza. Only a few more weeks to make the most of these sales deals, folks. So make sure you scan that QR code. Use that online code SalesBasket25 to make the most of these pizza deals while you can.
And Crystal did her thing a couple of weeks ago and researched. And is it right in saying that every ingredient is imported from New York? Is
Yes,
that right?
yes, or somewhere in the States. I know the tomatoes are from California or, you know, wherever they grow, but they're all from the States. So when they say authentic New York pizza, they're meaning it.
They're meaning it, and that's why they're so successful. And, whew, is that some good pizza?
Right, get a taste of America while you're sitting in your New Zealand lounge watching some Sales NBL. What more can you ask for?
Right, and the playoffs start next week. I mean, how exciting. The first eliminator final on Wednesday evening against the Ears. Thursday, the Sharks. And who's it going to be? That's the question, right? The Tuatara, a win tonight will seal a top 6 spot, but they are gridlocked with the Bulls, the Jets, and the Fly sneaking in there as well.
Right, how about the Fi's turnaround too? Really impressive, the late changes they made to their squad with Mojave King and Anzac Rossetto.
Great pickups. Almost another turnover there for the Hawks, but they can't find success in that possession. Scott tries it, won't get it, and there's some empty positions here for the Hawks to start things off.
Yeah, and that's just a really good look defensively. If you can get teams to use their full 24-second shot clock and not get a wide open shot, you're doing a pretty decent job of locking up and locking in on that scout.
Let's go along with that as well. 6 early turnovers for the Hawks. Way too high of a number if you're Coach Sam Gregan. Muhammad wants Nick Barrow, likes this matchup. Oh, so shifty Luther Muhammad, but misses the bunny.
Man, can't get it to go. That was so pretty.
$1 million move, 50-cent finish is what they call it. Campbell Scott has his way with Zach Riley. Things starting to heat up a little bit here in Napier.
Yeah, and that's a good look from the Hawks that Campbell Scott's starting to get aggressive as well. He's coming off a pretty decent game versus the Saints. He had 19 points, 5 3-pointers. So if he can see these free throws go down, hopefully that will give him some confidence. Still has another chance to do it.
This is the first from Keeper's Warehouse. Campbell Scott, just 21 years of age, plays well above that and has played an elevated role with the Hawks this year from his last couple of years in the Manawatu Jets.
Yeah, he's been a great get from them, and look at him on defense, locking up Wilkie as well.
Muhammad is 1 for 4 to start things off. Same play, same result, except this time round gets the foul call.
He is just so shifty, and because he is such a decent 3-level scorer, you have to respect that hesitation. Ezra Eagle just got him on the arm on that take. That's a tough ball for Muhammad.
Of course, second year in the league now for the 26-year-old out of New Jersey. Played with the Bulls last year, 17 points a game and 4 rebounds, and a season high of 41. At 36 against the Manawatu Jets. It was an absolute heater from him and Charles Pride.
Right, 5 3-pointers. What were they doing sitting in that zone?
You're gonna have to ask T-Web, mate.
No, but I was scared for the Tuatara when they announced Dave O'Hickey was leaving, but when they said they were getting Luther Muhammad, my hopes were lifted again for the squad because, yeah, Dave O'Hickey was so good. He was definitely the front runner for MVP of the league. No surprise that they got last year's MVP to come in and fill his shoes.
Yeah, it was. I was kind of thinking of who could possibly be the best replacement for Dave O'Hickey, and Luther Muhammad is definitely the top of that list. And of course, Dave O'Hickey having a go with the Chicago Bulls Summer League right now, alongside last year's NZNBL MVP, Lachlan Albrecht, got drafted to the Chicago Bulls at 55th. So exciting for the young man. Olsen finds Lukey Yates, picking at the Illawarra Hawks. Oh, look at Campbell Scott go. Bounced off the trampoline and got the O-ball.
I like those looks. I like the Hawks getting on the glass, getting some offensive rebounds. When your shots aren't falling, you have to try give your team another look at it. Get those extra possessions.
5 early O-boards for the Hawks. This is a team that only averages 7 a game. And they are last in rebounding in the league. Love the effort early. Scott gets a second one to go from the Chemist Warehouse's second trip of the night. Of course, every make gets funds toward the Chemist Warehouse and Basketball New Zealand Hoops and Schools program. Pride gets it out to Riley. Pride again has the foot speed mismatch all day. Dan Greeter in there. Comes across far too late. Charles Pride now at the Chemist Warehouse.
Zach Riley just showed some IQ on that play by giving that extra pass to Pride, who had the mismatch against Lukey Yates. You said it, the foot speed, the quickness, the guard versus big. Good decision from the Tuatara to keep moving it.
Charles Pride similarly coming off a heater against the Manawatu Jets. 23 points for him in that one. This is the first from the Chemist Warehouse. 25-year-old out of Syracuse. His first time ever playing outside of the United States, Charles Pride. There he is, pressuring in the full court. And Alston, hard job right now to maintain possession, with Charles Pride being an absolute nuisance. Riley beaten off the dribble by Greeter. Greeter, a footwork masterclass, and Josh Leisure is not a fan of that foul call. How good are the fundamentals there from Dan Greeter?
Right, he did a 360 all around the world. All the up fakes on those spins. We see Dan Futu back in the game. The Hawke's Bay have a chance to pull that lead back. Can't get it done with that free throw.
Ledger will sit now with 2 fouls. See him sometime through the second quarter. Dylan Wilkie off the bench. Get to see him get going early, and the Tuatara can't generate another possession. Matakatsia back in this ball game for Greeter. Another early break for Greeter. That's 2 in the first quarter.
I mean, we spoke about that potential back injury, maybe on some minutes restriction. We're just trying to save him for down the stretch and get some other players going. Alston, nice little Euro finish with the left.
His first point of the game, the 30-year-old import. 4-2, finds Barrow. Riley stops on a dime at a shiner. The Sky Broadband Rapid League, looking to pick up where he left off. What a friendly beef between him and Clifton Bush there. Not happy with that foul call. And that'll send Hawke's Bay to the Chemist Warehouse stripe once again. They've already shot 6 for 9.
And Zach Riley is letting the ref know that was all ball. He's unfortunate. I thought he had Elson on that turnaround as well, but easiest walk of the court Elson will have tonight.
And back within touching distance go the Hawks. All they got to do tonight is just cause an upset. And they'll be happy to do so on their home floor. Alston goes perfect from the Chemist Warehouse strike. And it's the last possession of the quarter for the Tuatara. What can they chef up? Wilkie finds 4-2. Over to Riley. Riley, strong finish at the hoop from the young man.
I mean, that's a pretty good recipe, putting it in the hands of Zach Riley. He was very efficient in the Rapid League game.
Alston, the in and out. Blocked away by Zach Riley. What an end to the first quarter he's had. No forecourt heave this time around. Jet Thompson remains the king of that. And the Auckland Tuatara, despite some momentum going the way of the Hawks in the end of that one, they hold on to their lead 21-18. 3 quarters of great basketball still to come here on Sky Sport. Don't go anywhere. No mai hoki mai whānau. Welcome back. Sal's NBL action here on Sky Sport. Saturday evening hoops and never disappoint. And it is the last regular season game for both these sides. The Tuatara with a narrow 3-point lead. A win is a must for the Tuatara here tonight. The Hawks just looking to get a cheeky upset, make things interesting. What a first quarter for both sides, Crystal.
Yeah, the Tuatara started that quarter really strong, but the Hawks, as we know, they have the fight in them, responded really well in that last 5 minutes of the first, got themselves right back in this ball game.
4-2, left all alone. Can't make a count from 3. It's been a tough day from the office to start things off for the Tuatara. Go 1 for 4.
Man, and talk about a tough day in the office. I'm feeling for Campbell Scott right now, getting smothered by Pride.
Oh, and he comes up with it. Charles Pride, oh, no way. Rub salt in the wound, eh?
Right, don't do it to him.
Can't finish that possession, but that's the kind of defense the Tuatara need if they're going to get a win tonight. Campbell Scott couldn't have got rid of that thing any quicker. Here's Yates now. Can't find Matakatia on the cut. Alston has got to make something work. It's not bad. Campbell Scott can't make it pay from deep. No team is really finding their rhythm from downtown.
No, we've only seen 1 3-pointer knockdown so far in this game, and that was from the Tuatara.
Tommy V. Oh, a classic move. Hits every part of the rim, but goes out. Here come the Hawks. Alston finds the big man, Lukey Yates, just too big. for Luther Muhammad. Give me that.
Great decision by Yates to go down, get a deep seal underneath the hoop. And Alston took a couple of fakes to get it into him, but rewards the big man for having a solid seal down low.
Yeah, how good's that patience? Doesn't give up on the plate. Lukey Yates establishes position, and Muhammad picks up his second foul of the ball game. And Cam Glidden rolls the dice, keeps him in.
I mean, Luther Muhammad is one of the smartest guys in this league. If you can't trust him, you can't trust many others to stay out there.
4-2. Finds him on an island. Muhammad, there he is. The triple. The second one of the game for the Tuatara.
He's got 7 to start.
Scott turns the corner. Finds Matsukatsia. Has his lunch money stripped. But through hands it goes and stays with the Hawks. Tuach did a great job there. Just lost handle of the possession. We'll see that again. Scott does a good job to find the cutting Matsukatsia. And it's unfortunate there for Tuach.
I'm just impressed by that pass. I have no idea how Campbell Scott threw that with his body in the air, contorted that way.
I believe there's going to be probably a shot clock adjustment on this one. Ray Clive over there chatting to the score bench. Shout out to all the volunteers who get the mahi done on game day. Obviously, the players and the coaches get all their love, but the volunteers make these things happen.
Right, if you're a fan watching at home and want to get more involved in the game, make sure you inquire with your local clubs. Campbell Scott, too long.
One thing a club will never do is say no to a willing volunteer, that's for sure. Here's Tuach in the corner, finds 4-2. Tommy V in an absolute battle with Lukey Yates. And wins it. Lukey Yates drawing a foul. Tommy V being an absolute problem.
Yates has the length. Tommy V, though, has the strength, and he wins out there. Tuatara potentially bailed out with that call. The pass was a bad angle.
Tuach fouled! And makes it from the corner. A rare 4-point play. Wowee. Got tackled in the corner and still made it. Let's see that again. Oh, clear as day. Shoulder to the tummy. Impressive stuff from Tuach.
Man, what a play from Tuach. I think one of the most underrated, exciting players in this league. Quite often, he is overshadowed by all this other talent in this squad.
If you just look at him there, moving actively off the ball. Dan Fortu just doing his classic bully ball. The lead goes back out to 8.
Right, it's a family thing. It's a 4-2 thing. Scott from deep.
Oh, way off goes Scott. He's hitting a couple of those now. Looks up in frustration. You're right. The 4-2 trio, Isaac, Ella, and Dan, they were all played for the national team in 2022.
Right, and don't forget about their younger brother coming up as well, still making his way through the age groups. 4-2 again, beautiful pass from Pride, delivered on the money.
Lead now goes to double digits for the first time in this ball game. Scott still not having any success from deep. Pride slows it down for the Tuatara. There's no rush for them here. Tommy V is loving what he can do against Lukey Yates. Tuach almost earns another possession. Here's Scott, finds Bush. Look at Alston. Trying to make something work here, the Hawks. Not a lot of synergy in that offense, and it just goes straight out of bounds. They need Dan Greer back in.
They do, and they need some more of that word you just said, some synergy out there. Looks like they're just on different pages. Alston getting swallowed up by that defense inside.
Been some fire uniform choices this season. If you have a preference you like any you see on your screen, you can scan that QR code and head to the team merch Sterling Sports shop. get your hands on some Rapid League or some Sales NBL merch.
Only took me the whole season to recognize the feathers on the Hawks' backs. Beautiful pass, great high-low from Dan Fotu to Tommy V down low.
Just fundamental basketball from the Tuatara, and they force Sam Gruggan into yet another timeout. The biggest lead of the game, it sits at 12. Hawks only 21 points, and it's the synergy we spoke about in their offense. They're really struggling to find any rhythm.
Yeah, only 3 points in this second quarter. That just isn't enough. Like to see them get back to their sets, get some things going, things that they recognize.
If you're Tuatara, you got to be happy with things like this. The selflessness of Fotu to find a great shot for Luther Muhammad, just playing exactly how a playoff team plays.
Yeah, I mean, the Tuatara are just spoiled for options. They have multiple players. All 5 of their starters can step out and knock down that 3. All 5 of their players can get in the paint and challenge anyone at the rim as well. So it's just a tough matchup, and a team that has been put together very well.
And the depth speaks to the fact that they're missing Rob Lowe, who averages 28 minutes and 14 points, but still able to find offense without him, and able to contain the 6'10" Luka Yates without him as well.
Yeah, and that's just that experience, that vet mindset. They know how to move, get in gaps, play positions. They're just exploiting that inexperience of the Hawks.
In a zone now are the Tuatara. Gonna force this Hawks team to try their luck from downtown. Alston spins, finds Greeter. Greeter over to Alston. Alston attacks the long closeout. Scott, he's on an island. And a great position for the Hawks. What a response out of their timeout.
Man, and they worked that ball around the entire 24 seconds. Up until that point, the Tuatara were doing a decent job getting hands in the lane, being active off the ball. But Campbell Scott finally able to connect from distance.
Lava's confidence to continue shooting the ball. Tommy V, there he is, just putting in a shift tonight down low, up to 7 points, Tommy V.
And we spoke about footwork. How about that movement inside?
If you're a young gun watching at home, that is exactly how you should use your pivot. Jacob Murphy. Sam Gruggan looked very frustrated at that. A prayer of a shot. Tuash slows things down. 4-2. Getting hauled there by Campbell Scott. Doesn't get a foul call.
No, it doesn't. And that's a great effort by Campbell Scott as well, because he was definitely a mouse in Fotu's house.
Oh my days. Campbell Scott on a heater right now. Bucket, stop, bucket.
Man, and not just a bucket. That was a beautiful move. Absolutely shook him out of his shoes and got the flush.
Momentum shift. And Campbell Scott, the leader of it. Back to single digits it goes. And it's going to be a timeout for Coach Cam Glidden. Just going to have a chat to Sam Pan there about that foul call. I believe it was a moving screen. We didn't quite catch it on the broadcast. We'll have a look and just confirm that for you. But great momentum shift here for the Hawks.
Yeah, led by Campbell Scott. He's one of those players that steps up when his name is called. He thrives in opportunities when his team needs him. We know he's a sniper, and just then he showed us the handle as well. All he needs is some space.
8 points for the young gun. Already a rebound and a steal as well. Let's have a look at that. Looks like it's going to be a moving screen there on Dan Fotu. Don't think you can poke your butt out like that in the playbook.
No, no. Big booty alert. Got called by Sam Pan.
Fotu is going to be forced to sit, I believe. Let's have a look at the foul. Just his first, actually. Quite a relief, probably, for the Tuatara. The Hawks will be glad they're making this surge now. They've brought it back to single digits. Just chipping away And the lead that the Tuatara had, 4-2, will stay in the game. Riley back in the mix.
Speaking of fouls, a couple of people, Zach Riley has 2 personals, Josh Ledger and Mohammed also with 2 for the Tuatara. Zach Riley still not afraid to get up and pressure.
Scott is on an absolute heater. Call it a Campbell Scott takeover.
Man, let's run every play for that man right now. Continue to get him touches. He is a green bean.
Up to double digits he goes and gets yet another stop. He did it on 4-2. Now he does it on Mohammed.
Right, great couple minutes of play from Campbell Scott.
Goes back to 6, does the score. Love the activity off the ball here. Greeter finds Scott. Yates, the on ball. Scott, nowhere to go. And it's going to be a foul call here. Of course, Scott makes it. That's going to go against Zach Riley. Foul number 3. He's going to have to take a seat. Or he's not. Cam Glidden rolling the dice, keeping Zach Riley in with 3. Greeter. Oh! Has his money stolen by Luther Mohammed. And Tuatara loves transition basketball. What a steal from Mohammed.
Yeah, that was just great hands, good position. Greeter presented the ball in front of his body, and Mohammed said, "Thank you very much, I will take that."
Just like candy from a baby. Here comes pride, no doubt. Riley will have to sit for a fair while now. Just came in the ball game as well, which is so gutting. Tuatara obviously having to be extra physical with Lukey Yates and his size.
Yeah, with him and obviously fighting to get over and under screens, getting back to Campbell Scott as well, who has just got hot in these last few minutes.
Mohammed just needs a little bit of space and he never misses those. Up to 9 points goes Luther Mohammed. Murphy now finds Scott. He is there, glimmer of hope at the moment. Murphy from deep downtown, Jacob Murphy.
Okay, Murphy.
Tuatara, what a response though. What an athlete Tuatara is.
You guys can't see me, but my mouth just dropped. Are you serious? Like, did he just double pump in the air on that finish? Man.
Such a great player to watch, Tuatara. The athleticism and his ability to play in transition. Mind you, that wasn't even transition basketball. That's off a made 3.
Right, and that wasn't even a wide open layup. That was almost through 3 people. The hang time this guy has. I'd want to see him and Carla Davison go at it in a dunk comp.
Can that be a thing, the Sal's NBL dunk contest? Why are we not running that?
Right, we need to speak to someone about that.
Oh, Tuatara, 30 years old, out of Ethiopia, grew up in Nebraska. Any of professional experience, and you can tell. Scott gets it done on the inside as well. Campbell Scott is in takeover mode. And he's got some things to say.
You love to see it. Look at him getting it done inside as well. Tuatara thought he had all ball up top, but that foul might have been called down low. Like Campbell Scott getting aggressive. He averages almost 11 points per game. He's the 4th best option on his team when it comes to scoring. And with Wani Swakala-Bullock and Jackson Ball out, he is right up there amongst the most consistent scorers in this team.
Goes for free throws number 4 and 5. Makes both. It's Campbell Scott. It's back to a 6-point game. Here's Mohammed. Defended by the younger Jacob Murphy. Pride over to 4-2, classic basketball. You'd love to see it from the Tuatara.
You do, and Pride came off that pin down knowing exactly what he was going to get. Campbell Scott had to chase him, was on his back. Murphy couldn't get it, neither could Bush. But Charles Pride, great pass.
And those misses just opened the door for the Tuatara in transition. And the offensive rebound lets Muhammad do what he wants. Gets to the rim and draws the foul. And a big smile on his face for Muhammad. Has to control his passionate teammate, Tommy V. Can't help himself sometimes, I don't think, Tommy V.
I mean, it's all in the game.
Never met the guy, Tommy V, but just heard the loveliest things about him. But he's just a dog on the floor.
Yeah, and you need a guy like that. We spoke about how much he's impacted winning everywhere he goes. And you just play with a level of intensity when you're used to a certain standard.
Started in the NZNBL with the Sharks in 2018. He was the NBL MVP in 2020 in the showdown year with the Manawatu Jets. Plenty of experience with the Tall Blacks as well. As Alston misses a triple, it's back to a 10-point game. Pride now goes on a dime, and that is a big boy finish. Weight room, might I say.
Right, got into the body of Clifton Bush on that drive and just exploded off the mark.
Talk about explosiveness. There goes Greta, but turns the ball over. And this is where the Tuatara thrive in specific. That man right there, Luther Muhammad, heating up to 11 points now. There he is, causing an absolute ruckus. And gets the assist from 4-2. Sam Gruggan, no timeout. What a run they're making.
Luther Muhammad still playing with those 2 fouls, clapping in Scott's face, saying, I want more.
Scott can't answer. Is he called off for 21-year-old? Wilkie all alone, but actually stepped out of bounds. Don't think he quite knew where he was. Cam Glidden is going to use his final timeout of the half. Let's take a look at that. So you have to get 2 feet inbounds before you catch that thing. Dylan Wilkie, I don't think he quite realized where he was. And the Hawks, they'll be very thankful for that.
Right, it was like, I was so wide open down here.
Nevertheless, the Tuatara have just gone on an absolute frenzy. All of a sudden, 34 to 50. And it's been Luther Muhammad really leading that surge they've made.
Yeah, he's up to 15 points on the night. The Tuatara, 29 points this quarter. The Hawks have got to do some things to slow them down, and it will actually start with their own offensive end, not turning the ball over, not giving them those leak-outs.
11 turnovers already for the Hawks. They average 12 a game, so they are almost at their game average with a minute to go in the second quarter. And that has been due to the pressure of the Auckland Tuatara. We've seen Charles Pride get up in the full court. Luther Muhammad so active in picking off passes. And this is a team that is desperate to get to the playoffs, and you can see it in the way they're applying their pressure at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, this Tuatara squad, we've spoken about it all the time, you know, going to the finals the last 3 years. They have high standards for themselves. This franchise has a lot of pride in featuring in playoff games and making it right to the end.
Greta just not having any luck. You can see how frustrated he is. Muhammad, 4-2 ends up with it. Back out to Muhammad. Takes control. No rush on this possession. Tommy V to set the on ball. Muhammad gets the Gortat screen from Tommy V. Can't make it count. And this is Dan Greta's bread and butter. Scott leads the charge here. Gets the switch on Tommy V. Alston looks to create a much needed bucket there for the Hawks.
Yeah, smart play by Alston, challenging Muhammad on that dribble, able to slide by.
Muhammad, well defended here by Alston, just closed the gap though. Gets the foul call. Muhammad is having a fun time out there.
He is always smiling, loves playing the game.
That is going to be free throws for Luther Muhammad, who has just disappeared quickly. Just took a quick stroll to the half-court line. Back to shoot appear. Luther Muhammad already has 15, like you spoke about. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals. That's a stat you'd be happy with at the end of the game. Silence in the house as Muhammad bangs it from the Kim's warehouse. He's 70% this season from the stripe. 5 attempts a game. Can hardly be guarded without being fouled. Misses the second. Not going to be Tuatara possession. And the Hawks, I think, will call their BNZ player timeout, will they?
Yeah, you could see Dan Greta signal for it, but they're going to try push, see what they could get. You can call it.
Here. Yeah, there you go. I think I heard old Sam Gruggan calling that. Not sure that's the intention with the player timeout, but they get it nonetheless, the Hawks. And of course, we thank BNZ for their initiative this season with a ticket to the big game and their investment inspiring the next generation of Kiwi basketballers. I mean, the youth are doing pretty well on the world stage at the moment. Semi-final in the Under-19 World Cup tomorrow morning against the USA.
Man, what a game, what an opportunity that is for those guys. They've absolutely put us on the world map in terms of the basketball scene internationally. And yeah, you better set your alarms. It's going to be a good one.
6 a.m. tomorrow morning, folks. FIBA YouTube, check it out. Campbell Scott. Alston to in the quarter. Oh, Greta, is it going to count? It's going to count. Brad Clive confirms it's going to count. Dan Greta. That's the energy they need. They need more of that, Crystal, if they're going to get back in this one.
Just that never give up mentality that Greta has. Chases it. Not much of a chance of getting it or getting it off in time, but he does it. He makes it work. And just like that, adds 2 more points to his team's board.
What a half of basketball here in Napier, and 20 more minutes to come. The Tuatara lead 51-38. We'll be back shortly with some Chemist Warehouse stats. Kia ora iti whanau, no mai, hooky mai, and a welcome in NZNBL on your Saturday evening here in Napier. It is last but certainly not the least round of the regular season, and the Tuatara are fighting to keep their playoff hopes alive. They lead 51-38. Who else other than Luther Muhammad?
Yeah, man, he was getting it done on both ends to end that half. 16 points to his name. He played that half with 2 fouls as well, so did a really good job of being disciplined, keeping himself in the game. Tuach was exciting in transition, and Fotu just made some great decisions down low in Pride, and Muhammad did some good work getting him the ball off pick and rolls. Campbell Scott, though, also exploded for the Hawks and got them back in it. Absolutely got it done with 13 points, a lot of threes for him. But rebounds, can we talk about Greeta's last one at the end, and Bush, the little putbacks inside, keeping their team within touching distance at times of this Tuatara squad. And then Pride as well, doing all the little things for his squad. 6 rebounds for him. Zach Riley listing a block, had to sit with 3 fouls though, so 1 to watch out for in the second half. And then look at all those steals for the Tuatara, getting in passing lanes, very active hands, just playing really disciplined half-court defense, coming up with a lot of ball, turning into a lot of transition offense for their team, led by Luther Muhammad.
I think that just speaks volumes to the turnover count. The Tuatara with just a mere 4 and 11 for the Hawks. Just really varying chances and opportunities for both these sides, and we spoke about this, Crystal. It's going to be very important the second half of basketball. A win tonight for the Tuatara will seal their place in the top 6. The placing is still up for debate, but all they need to do is win. Can they do that in the next 20 minutes? Well, I don't know. We'll see. Don't go anywhere. Kia ora iti whānau, no mai, hoki mai, welcome in. Sal's NBL action has been nothing short of a blast here on Sky Sport for your Saturday evening. Thank you for choosing us over the All Blacks, we appreciate it. And Tuatara with a 51 to 38 point lead at halftime. Maya Williamson here, joined by Crystal Ledger-Walker. Tuatara need to get it done tonight, Crystal, and they are playing very much like a playoff team.
Yeah, they are. They've been in control for the majority of this game. Getting out in transition, that man on your screen right there, Luther Muhammad, just so smart, such a high IQ and an on-court coach, absolutely controlling things for this team. Look at him there, knocked down the three as well. But Fotu, Tommy V, Pride and Tuach also making winning plays. Look at Tuach getting it done from outside. Made it a 4-point play as well. Got it done at the Chemist Warehouse free throw line. But the Hawks, they have had a response led by Campbell Scott, who got it going from outside. He had some steals of his own as well. But the Hawks did a great job of getting him in his spots, finding him in rhythm. He was able to knock it down in that second quarter and give them a chance in this game.
It's going to have to be a big second half for the Hawks. Dan Greta seemingly playing with some sort of minutes restriction and has been held relatively quiet by his standards. 9 points for him, but of course stuffing the stat sheet with 5 rebounds and 2 assists as well. He of course is their best chance at getting back in this, alongside some contributions from Scott, Yates, Alston as well.
And if you went away and were making a cup of tea during that halftime break and missed our chat about the stats, the 11 turnovers for the Hawks would have been a point of emphasis in their locker room chat. That is just too many. The Tuatara only have 4, but 9 steals in that first half. So definitely something the Hawks will be looking to clean up.
Not to mention 15 points from turnovers for the Tuatara. They love transition basketball. I know that Charles Pride doesn't look like he loves it right now, but they do. Charles Pride, I really love the role that he's willing to play in this team. 23 points against the Jets. He just absolutely came alive. Only 3 points here tonight, but doing the little things like you just spoke about. 6 rebounds, 2 assists and a steal as well. Just playing a very selfless role and able to kind of slide up and down depending on what the team needs on the night.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so important when you have a stacked squad like this Tuatara squad does. He's not afraid to get up, do all the dirty work, get up on defense. He's been making Campbell Scott's life very hard, bringing the ball up the floor. But it also is probably due to the fact that this is his first import season playing outside of America. So the Tuatara have been able to mold him a little bit into that role.
From downtown to begin things off goes Brandon Alston. What better way to start the half than a triple to 9 points for the import. There goes Tommy V moving off ball. 4-2. Finds Pride. They're still looking to get it into Tommy V. Getting hauled down low by Brandon Alston. Tuach answers from downtown up to 16 points. And 3 triples.
He loves those spots. He loves the corner 3 ball. The shortest 3 on the court. Makes no mistake.
He's missed 1 shot in this game, Tuach. He is 3 from 3 from deep. And Alston is on a heater to start this one off. Doesn't want to lose his last game of the season.
He is absolutely out here trying to getting it done inside, getting himself to the Chemist Warehouse stripe. I was quite interested when they replaced Cowart with Alston, obviously choosing to go with a guard presence instead of bringing in another big.
Definitely been missed has Darnell Cowart. Alston, of course, stepping in and doing a good job. He's played professionally in Portugal, Georgia, Estonia, Finland, Czech Republic, Germany, and Romania. Talk about experience.
Right, where hasn't he played?
Coming to this part of the hemisphere. Here goes Charles Pride. Finds Tommy V. Great play. But Tommy V leaves it short. And there goes Charles Pride. Doing the little things. Dan Fortu also doing the little things. Just an offensive rebounding machine. And there goes Tommy V. Better this time around.
Thought about the pass, looked again at who was matched up on him and thought, I'm about to eat. Took Campbell Scott to the bucket.
9 points now for Tommy V. Alston has been the glimmer of hope to start off for the Hawks. I wonder if that's on Muhammad. And if that's on Muhammad, that's his third. No sub for him. Looks like they're holding up the 3 at the bench. I wonder if that was on Muhammad. We'll get confirmation on that soon. Greeter finds Scott. Scott looks to dance with Pride. Pride has done nothing but contain this whole game long and continues to do so.
Campbell Scott found some separation on that turnaround, but it's a hard shot when you're fading away from the hoop. Muhammad short again.
Muhammad now 5 of 10 from the field. Alston can't go from deep. And trail by 13 to the Hawks. Just 43 points. Pride finds Tommy V. Staying on this side of the floor goes Tuatara. Pride through traffic. Just can't seem to find the bottom of the net, Charlie Pride. Oh,
gone a little quiet this quarter, but it's a frustration foul for Pride. He's not happy about that one.
Yeah, we'll just see this here. That's quite obvious there from Charles Pride. I don't know where the argument there coming from. Dan Greeter did a good job to sell that one. Definitely a foul out of frustration for Charles Pride. He's now 1 from 5 from the field. 9 rebounds though. Scott nowhere to go against Tuach. It's going to have to be Alston. Gets in the paint. And Bush, Clifton Bush, is unreal on the boards. That's his 4th offensive rebound.
He makes them pay for not boxing him out. That's the 3rd time he's got above the rim and tapped it back in.
Second chance opportunity is going to be very important for this Hawks team. Fortu can't hit the fadeaway jumper. Could it go back to single digits here? Luther Muhammad. Oh, he's just unreal, this guy. Does it on both ends. But can't make it count. An uncharacteristic miss from Muhammad.
Yeah, the Hawks are doing a good job of contesting. They did a good job of getting back in that D-trans. A lot of frustrated faces for the Tuatara, but we see Zach Riley making his way to the bench. Remember, he has those 3 fouls, so he'll want to play disciplined, conservative defense.
Interesting scenes here now, Crystal. That's 3 fouls for Muhammad, 3 for Pride, and 3 for Riley as well. And he's going to have to be careful here. Tommy V hasn't even picked up the foul yet. Greeter doing the absolute most on the offensive glass. It does a bit too much. Muhammad hyped up about that one. I've done a good job to contain the effectiveness of Dan Greeter.
You were speaking about 3 fouls. That's Dan Greeter's 3rd as well. As we know, he's a big piece, if not the biggest piece, for this Hawks team.
6.5 to go in this 3rd quarter. For Tuatara win tonight, the Bulls lose tomorrow. They finish 5th. Muhammad finds Tuach. He's perfect from downtown and continues the perfect streak. Tuach.
It's hard when you go a zone to keep an eye on shooters like that. And unfortunately, the Tuatara have a few for the Hawks to worry about. Good hands inside for the big man, Yates. Flushes it down. Great cut off the ball.
Look out. 6'10" Lukey Yates coming through. Great, easy, and uncontested look for the Hawks, but responding as boy Tuach. And the smirk on his face says it all. He's up to 19 points and has still only missed 1 shot. Unreal.
The Tuatara have done a good job of hunting out Campbell Scott and getting him in mismatches inside.
Off the back rim goes Tuach, might have stitched him up there. Tuach tries for his second. Just a 63% free throw shooter. Splits the 2. Now he's 2 for 4 on the game. Yates does well to keep in bounds. Tommy V picks up his first foul. They've been battling it all night.
They have, but Yates did a great job of getting behind the line of defense on his roll. Elson recognized as soon as he could see him getting there, put it up nicely in the air. Unfortunately, Yates got that foul to put him at the Chemist Warehouse free throw line.
Trailing by 13 are the Hawks. They have not led yet today. And that missed free throw there from Luke Yates will not help. 6'10" big, born in Christchurch. Snuck his way in with a Kiwi passport, but was raised in Townsville, Australia. Development player last season for the Illawarra Hawks. Already an ANBL champion. Here goes Tommy V. The no-look over to Dan Fortu. Loves a pivot and a nice touch off the glass.
Great use of his footwork, of his length, getting to the opposite side of the rim, avoiding any shot blockers.
Eagle back to Alston. Over to Greeter. What an athletic matchup we have on our hands. Stops on a dime, just damn Greeter. That's a shot usually, just can't make it tonight.
Yeah, did a decent job of getting himself right into the middle of that paint. What can the Tuatara do on this set? Tuach.
Who else would it be? Finds the rolling Fortu. Everything connecting right now for the Tuatara. Gets his own O-board. Tommy V steps into one. Can't get the friendly roll. Yates keeps it alive. Oh, but Campbell Scott doesn't. Whew. Sped up by the Tuatara once again.
Yeah, the Tuatara, we spoke about it earlier, they're making Campbell Scott's life hard, bringing the ball up the floor. Now he's looking for that early kick. But Elson not quick enough to get his hands on that one.
This is where they start to miss the likes of Jackson Ball, a little bit of composure at that point guard position. And some scoring as well. Of course, missing Wani Twakalo-Bullock as well. 15 points a game for him.
Yeah, not just that scoring, but also that ball handling ability.
Oh, Muhammad. That's just what he does. We've seen plenty of those over the last couple of years for Luther Muhammad.
Man, I loved watching him and Miles Gibson go at it. The debate between them for who is the best jump shot shooter this season up for debate.
Love to see that lost art form in the mid-range jumper making its way back here in Aotearoa. Just watching the USA Under-19 World Cup boys in their win against Canada in the quarterfinal. Those boys shoot so many midi jumpers. You can see where these guys get it from.
Just makes you so much harder to guard when you can score at all three levels. Obviously, if you know if someone's just got to knock down the three or get to the cup, you can kind of jump off them, play that cushion, meet them at the rim. But when they've got that mid-range in their bag as well, got to be a step closer, hands more active, just play more honest defense.
And Muhammad makes it a problem with his playmaking abilities as well. 4 assists for the guy. There really is no correct way to cover him on a screen. Well, that's one way to do it from Jacob Murphy. Watch out, Dan Greeter. Look out below. A sliver of hope here for the Hawks. The energy just shifted in the gym. But Tuach is just too athletic.
It is just so impressive watching him around the rim.
A steal there quickly for the Tuatara and another turnover for the Hawks. They get the ball back. Alston, Eagle in the corner. Off the bench, okay, young man. Love the confidence there from Ezra Eagle. But They just aren't stroking it from deep, the Hawks. That is 4 of 16.
Ezra Eagle, a development player with this Tuatara squad last year. Wanted to get his, but once again, Luther Muhammad getting to his spot, getting his inside foot down on that jumper. Cash.
A light 20-piece for Luther Muhammad as they are forced into a timeout. The Hawks will take a look at this from Alston. I believe that was to start the half, and there's Tuach's one. He's still perfect from deep. He's 4 of 4. 22 points for Tuach, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. There he is again, making an impact. And what a tough team to guard. Here's Greeta's dunk in transition. Of course, so what a tough team to guard. You've got Tuach on 22 on a heater. Luther Muhammad now on 20 points. Fortu's got 12, and Tommy V with 9 as well.
Right, and not to mention all these other guys that play their role so well. I mean, Pride does all the little things. They have bench players. Riley can come out there, do his thing as well. Just so many weapons. So many players have been unlocked for this Tuatara squad. And once again, still without Rob Lowe, who's just going to be a problem when it comes to playoff time. If you can get all these guys going, if they're all having a night, tough going for the opposition, for sure.
Sal's NBL highlight show every Tuesday evening. Plenty of Luther Muhammad pull-up J's in there, I'm assuming.
Right, and surely some of Tuach's hang time as well.
And his 3 balls as well, 4 of 4. He is proving to be one of the most versatile players here in the Sal's NBL. Love this Muhammad and Greeta matchup. Greeta finds Scott, just needs a little bit of space. There's Campbell Scott, the heater.
Campbell Scott up to 16. Great separation dribble away from Muhammad flying at him.
Riley back in the game. Goes into the contact and gets the friendly roll.
He's a scorer. Little fake, all it took to get that defense away from him. Greeta
had a wide open lane, just parted the Red Sea. Goes into the hoop cushion with a bit of frustration, I think. See that again. Just saw the miscommunication there from Ledger and Muhammad on the screen coverage. With some great help there from Zach Riley, and that's not a happy Dan Greeta.
No, just giving the hoop a little hug, asking for some love.
Doesn't stop him from going hard. Likes that on Muhammad, floats it up off the rim. Just see the body language there from Dan Greeta. He's frustrated.
He is, and I mean, he's doing everything he can. He's trying to get good looks, but this Tuatara defense is absolutely locked in right now.
Ledger spins, finds Fortu. The 2-man game inside has been pretty for the Tuatara.
It has, and they did a good job of getting Josh Ledger that ball with Campbell Scott on him. Once again, finding that mismatch.
Greeta on Muhammad, moves his feet. Murphy from deep, rims out. And this relentless defense for the Tuatara just does not stop.
See Muhammad trying to slow it up. Cam Glidden's like, let's go, we need a score.
Yeah, just on that, Crystal, really interesting point as Tuach will do just that. They need as many points as they possibly can, the Tuatara, just to make sure they are maintaining the highest spot on the ladder that they can. They do not want to leave it down to points differential.
No, they do not. Luther Muhammad once again looking at the clock.
Another missed triple for the Hawks. That puts them up to 5 from 18. Tuach! Are you kidding me? He is 5 from 5 from deep. This is a joke.
Man, hit him with the spin cycle from outside. Crazy stuff.
Oh, nice play there. Little pick and roll, just doing it the fundamental way. But I'm still recovering from boy Tuach, 25 points. He has literally missed 1 field goal. What the heck is going on?
Absolutely wild scenes from boy Tuach. Luther Muhammad just slowing it down now.
He wants to get in this two-man game, see where he can cook. Gets the blitz from the Hawks. Ledger loves nothing else than bully ball. We're going to say that's an assist, and what the heck from Zach Riley. A circus finish. Matsakatia throws it up. The time will expire. What a quarter. What a third quarter push there from the Tuatara. They are slowly etching their name onto a playoff spot. They lead 79-56. We're back after the break for 10 more minutes. No mai huki mai whānau, welcome back. 10 more minutes on your Saturday evening of Sal's NBL basketball. And that's how far away from the playoffs the Tuatara are. They lead 79-56. And Crystal, the offense is always going to be there for the Tuatara, but what a defensive effort keeping the Hawks to 56 points in 30 minutes of basketball.
Yeah, they've really locked down. You can tell they've locked in on this scout. They've had a great game plan coming into this. And wow.
Oh, look out below. Boy Tuach goes flying to continue the frenzy. 29 points. He's been an absolute problem tonight.
Yeah, he has done it in all types of ways. Through one, through three, does not matter. Campbell Scott from deep. He's gone a bit cold.
Campbell Scott has put his heart on the line today. 16 points for him. Dan Greeder with a mere 11, but mere by his standards, of course. The Hawks just really battling on the offensive end. Tuatara, not so much. Josh Ledger, oh my gosh, that's a toilet bowl if I've ever seen one.
Man, 2 toilet bowls.
Alston there. Gets the bucket off the backboard. Up to 13 points on the night for Alston. 2 rebounds and 3 assists as well. Muhammad been great tonight. A 2-man game with Tommy V. Gets the step on Scott. Tommy V hits a bit of structure and goes out. Not having the night of his life from deep. 0 for 6, Tommy V. Really has actually struggled all of the season, just shooting at 27% from deep. 1.8 from 6.9 on the season. But so effective in other ways.
And Luther Muhammad doing a good job of playmaking, because that was a wide open shot for Tommy V. That one was not wide open though. Pretty decent contest, better offense. Alston getting going.
Tommy V, Tuach is closely defended. Finds Ledger. Drops it off to Riley, and Ledger moving screen, doesn't like that one.
No, had the right idea, was trying to get Zach Riley late off that handoff. Unfortunately, Hawks defense did a good job getting in the way.
Coach Cam Glidden spoke about in his pre-game interview the importance of defense tonight, specifically their ability to defend in transition, and I just feel like they have nailed that.
Yeah, they have, and you know, they will be hoping for a playoff spot, and they know if they come up against someone like the Airs, someone like Carlin Davison, that's going to be a point of emphasis as well.
Murphy downhill, and Clifton Bush has literally done that 4 times already. So active on the offensive glass.
So active and such a high flyer. Alston putting his body on the line on the other end.
Tommy V just smirks it off. He just knows he's a bit too strong. Love that from Alston, willing to put his body on the line to get a stop. It's not all said and done for the Hawks, but some changes are going to have to be made, of course.
But that will help, getting stops on this defensive end, slowing this Tuatara squad down, trying to build some momentum that way.
Great mahi from the young gun on the baseline to get all the sweat. And while we're at it, we may as well talk about the large pepperoni pizza deal. $29.99 a pop. Scan that QR code to use the online code SalesBasket25. You're looking for a bit of a Saturday evening feast, then get amongst. Murphy looks for a feast of his own against Dylan Wilkie. Alston will have a hard time against Luther Muhammad. Scott doesn't need much space. Oh my goodness! Campbell Scott is unafraid of a big moment. 4 from 10 from deep, 19 points.
When they have run that play, good things have happened. Boy, Tuach, what can happen? Wilkie.
Love seeing the activity from Wilkie. Ready to shoot the moment he comes off the bench. And Nick Barrow, what else is he going to do? The offensive rebounding machine. Muhammad, a rare shot off the side of the backboard for him.
Yeah, don't see that happen very often. Saw some fancy finishes from the Tuatara squad in rapid, finishing it from underneath the backboard. But Luther Muhammad doesn't have the same type of luck.
Falco was there. Couldn't quite see who was on. Give you that update in a second. Alston up to 4 assists with that find to Campbell Scott. Campbell Scott leads the scoring for the Hawks. Alston, right back on him. Dan Greeder has not had a night. It's been one heck of a struggle for Dan Greeder. You can't help but feel that back injury is causing some issues right now.
No, not that. He's lacking effort, especially on this defensive side.
It's going to be a moving screen there on 4-2. His second of the game in that regard, and his second personal foul. They've both come on the offensive end. Not happy about that one. Sam Gruggan giving some orders in his second year here with the Hawke's Bay Hawks. Scott doesn't need much room like we've seen. Steps back on a dime. Oh! Would have loved to see that one go for Campbell Scott. Pride. 4-2. Barrow with a little mini.
That's usually his spot. He's cashed money from the knuckles.
Great back tip there from Dylan Wilkie. Found in transition by Pride. And that's what Dylan Wilkie does. He is a specialist shooter.
He is Cam Glidden's protege, similar body type, similar aggressiveness to find his shot, especially from deep. Dylan Wilkie, great off the bench.
Hawks, again, they're going to use up all their timeouts in this one. They have just struggled all night long. The offense is coming in bunches for the Tuatara. 29 points for Boy Tuach. That's 20 for Mohammed, 14 for Dan Fortu. It's been Campbell Scott with the hope for the Hawks. He's got 19. Brandon Alston with 15. But when the league's leading scorer and Dan Greta has 11 points and is shooting 36% from the field, it's a tough day for them.
Yeah, it is, and we've kept going back to it. Without their two stars in Swakala Bullock and Jackson Ball, nobody else has really stepped up in that scoring role. Clifton Bush trying his best to get some inside presence with putbacks, second chances and rebounds. But otherwise, the Tuatara done a good job of clogging the paint, making any look contested, and building a wall against the likes of Dan Greta in transition.
15 turnovers for the Hawks as well, led to 20 points directly for the Tuatara. Defense, the big emphasis for this one for the Tuatara, and they have done just that. Bush trying to find any off-ball action. It's going to have to go to the third side with Alston. There's a little bit of space. Can't get the shooter's touch. The Barrow with the tip to Pride. Pride now in double digits on the glass. That's his 12th. Barrow goes screen for Riley to get downhill. It was a little bit too easy.
It was, and he just makes great decisions. Saw that big man in a deep defensive position inside, just pulls up right in front of him, teardrops it in.
8 points off the bench for Zach Riley and 4 rebounds to go alongside that. Lukey Yates far too long on the triple. And if you're the Tuatara, you live with him taking that shot all day.
You do. If you have their 5-man stepping out to take threes, it's a good sign that you're locking it down in the paint.
Greta whistled for a foul on that one. Just getting a little bit too handsy there. Gets his 4th personal. He doesn't really have to sit, does he? And I don't think Sam Gruggan is going to take him out. You've got to roll the dice if you're in this situation. Zoram Smiley gets his first minutes of this one. Number 15. Chris McIntosh similarly as well, getting a go. Riley rejects, finds McIntosh from deep, off the bench. Okay.
And talk about instant impact. Great insertion from the Tuatara. We know he's a sniper. And a defensive stop too.
Look at his smile as well. Love that from McIntosh. Didn't need no warm-up.
No, that's just an experienced player right then. Knows how to come in, knows how to do his job.
Scott finds Eagle. He's going to have to let it go. It has been a dry desert from downtown for the Hawks tonight. Tuatara not struggling offensively. They average 89 points a game, have already reached that milestone. McIntosh took about an immediate impact, Crystal. And then Dan Fortu steps out of bounds. A coach killer.
Yeah, unlucky, because that was pretty good ball movement coming from the Tuatara. Chris McIntosh did a great job of getting himself deep in the paint. Let me tell you, I know from experience, it is hard to play a rapid league game, sit a lot of this main game and stay ready, locked in to come in the 4th. So shout out to Chris McIntosh and Smiler and all these other players that are appearing for the first time.
Smiler, there he is. Very shifty at getting downhill, uses his footwork, but just leaves it long over the length of Nick Barrow. Ledger. Wilkie up to Riley now. Back to Wilkie. Ledger likes this matchup. Out to the specialist. That's what he does. Everyone tonight in the Tuatara nailing their role.
Second 3 for Wilkie. Sniper.
Scott has got to keep the Hawks alive, and I think it's probably fair enough to say that the Tuatara are going to advance to the playoffs. They knew what today was about, and Crystal, they showed up.
They absolutely did. Oh man, if Wilkie had got that one, same spot, same place.
Smiler sends Matakatia through. Bush. Scott. Up to Smiler. Eagle. Nothing easy for the Hawks here. Can't find any advantage. Smiler's going to have to let it go. Matakatia. Oh! Clifton Bush, the putback on Josh Ledger.
I mean, that is tough from Clifton Bush. He's done it all night, but that was the best one yet. Throwing it down over the defense.
On Josh Ledger's head, unfortunately. Eagle wasn't quite ready for that pass. Ledger, always active, always ready. Goes for a second. Defensive rebound goes to Wilkie. Just see there, Bart Jakowski and Chris Wiley ready to sub in as well. These guys getting some well-earned minutes. Riley. All the way to the rim. Bodies on him, no doubt.
Riley has really stood out tonight, both in the Rapid League and in patches throughout this main game. When those imports go off for the Tuatara, Riley has definitely been a player to put his hand up and take over the reins.
Makes his first from the Chemist Warehouse. Zach Riley, been a really great addition for this Tuatara team, really stacking out their bench. They have seriously rotated 3 guys, Wilkie, Ledger and Zach Riley, in the teens with their minutes. Not to mention you add Rob Lowe in that mix, and that's a whole lot of depth for this squad with some really nice momentum heading into the playoffs. Jakowski and Wiley in the game, as well as Godinay for the Hawks for the first time. Matakatia, shoes a little bit too big, unfortunately.
Right, Dogs just got too far over that line.
16 turnovers for the Hawks tonight. Tuatara, like we mentioned, just knew how to show up. They will head to the playoffs. Their placing is not determined. All depends on how the Jets perform tomorrow alongside the Bulls. It's going to depend on the final score of tomorrow's game, but rest assured, if you're an Auckland Tuatara game, you have more basketball to watch.
Just so good for the club. We spoke about the high expectations that this franchise has for themselves. Tonight, they showed out. Murphy just off on that very long, very high arcing 3.
And you got to give love to this Hawks organization. So much young local talent that has been developed and has had a really big role in the squad. We speak about Jackson Bull, of course, but Clifton Bush, Jacob Murphy, they've been massive parts of this Hawks association and are Napier born and bred.
Yeah, they have. Not to forget Kobe Cutter, who had patches throughout the season as well, and some history. I mean, they retired a jersey this year. That's super cool to go down in the books, and a lot of great things have come out of this season for the Hawke's Bay Hawks.
Hopefully they'll be backhand better next year. No doubt we're going to see that guy Murphy back in a Hawks uniform. Smiler over to Godinay. Crowd would have erupted if that one went. Matakatia still battling hard. Gets the jump ball. Of course, last game this year for the Hawks, and they'll be watching pleasantly. Probably not pleasantly. They'll be watching, though, the playoffs on the TV here on Sky Sport. The playoffs starting on a Wednesday. The Taranaki Ears will play in an eliminator final against the unknown. Will be either the Bulls or the Tuatara. Or the Jets could sneak in there. Jakowski. Oh, Murphy snatches that rebound out of mid-air. Matakatia slams it down to end things off. Wiley through hands, McIntosh on the buzzer, no. And there it is. That's all she wrote for the regular season for the Hawke's Bay Hawks. They're defeated by the Auckland Tuatara, who hold their heads high as they progress to the playoffs. A 96-67 win in dominant fashion away from home.
They just did it all. They came out from the start, were on a mission, and they succeeded tonight. They will go on and have some more games. But man, if anyone watched that pre-game interview and heard that their court was slippery and you're an inventor in some way and can fix that, that's a massive issue in New Zealand. Hopefully they can get that done, get some more practice under their belt. But how about Tuatara tonight? Put on an absolute clinic. 29 points, did it in all types of ways, was just so efficient. He was great. Muhammad also led the way with 20 points as well, had 4 assists, and you love to see that. Dan Foot, a big man, 5 assists, leading the way, leading everybody in the game in that category. Pride, 12 rebounds, did all the little things. Him and Futu kind of switched places in that. Pride did it inside. Futu moved the ball around. Muhammad did all the work on the defensive end, 4 steals. Futu had 3. Murphy tried to get it going late. He had 2. Ledger, 2 blocks. Riley had 1. But what a game.
Congratulations to the Tuatara, and a big congratulations to the Hawke's Bay Hawks on what a season that they have had. So amazing for this organisation. Coach Sam Gregan just giving a goodbye and thank you speech. 2 long seasons for him with the Hawke's Bay Hawks. Well, there you have it, folks. The Auckland Tuatara stay alive for 2025. Who they take on next week is unknown. But a massive congratulations to the boys from the 09 with a massive win to keep them going. Thank you so much for joining us here on Sky Sport. More Sales NBL to come this weekend, and more importantly, playoff basketball begins next week. Mā te wā.